Well, everyone, Season 1 is finally here, and I hope you are as excited about this show as I am. Right out of the gate, I really appreciate the opening scene with all of the symbolism and from a conceptual point of view. Obviously, the fight scene is going to be the first thing that catches your eye, but look at the bigger picture here. The larger picture is gray, dreary, and off-putting, essentially communicating to the viewer that this world is not a place where you're going to find a lot of happy endings. In fact, look at the Witcher himself. His colors are just as drab and unappealing as the monster he's fighting. He then turns around and slaughters an innocent lamb. The fight scene establishes Geralt as the protagonist, but all of the other elements tell us that the word hero is inappropriate and just two-dimensional. That this is going to be a character that interacts with the world in a more nuanced fashion. Then we see his corrupted black eyes, which tells us, well, it tells us he probably took a nut shot during that fight, but you get the point. Scrotal trauma and all, Geralt heads to town to collect his reward for killing the Kikimora. It's upon his entrance to the town of Blaviken that we meet the episode's most interesting character, Renfri. Renfri immediately establishes herself as someone to be reckoned with when she backs down a couple of local goons and a bartender without so much as a challenge.
Shows what you've got.
Can you not leave it alone for a moment?
Witches can't be trusted.
I'm not speaking to you. I apologize for my man's interference in your day.
Although she's charming and personable, Renfri begins to take a curious, if not suspicious, interest in what Geralt's doing.
So what brings you to Blaviken, Whitehair? You came for a monster?
So Geralt's sitting there, he's got a beautiful lady buying his beers, he decides to pitch his game. Unfortunately, he runs into an early roadblock.
It's hard to make a living on main roads.
And you desperately need money for new clothes.
Handy with the ladies as Geralt is, he manages to recover nicely until he's cock-blocked by somebody's unsupervised little brat.
How much coin for your Kikimora then?
This is exactly why you don't allow children at the bar without some form of leash. Blue balls or not, Geralt still needs to collect his bounty, and thus he seeks the local wizard Stregobor, and that's when the episode takes a very interesting turn.
A reclusive sorcerer who uses an alias and hires a young girl to procure him a witcher. You don't want my monster. You want me to kill yours.
Its name is Renfri.
Stregobor begins to explain why he needs the Witcher to kill Renfri, but Geralt just wants a straight answer.
You talk nonsense while making wise and meaningful faces. Speak normally.
Have you ever heard of the Curse of the Black Sun?
Clearly, Geralt was not impressed.
Doesn't rhyme. All good predictions rhyme.
Getting desperate, Stregobor decided to step up his game.
With the fate of the continent at stake, is that a chance you're willing to take? There's your rhyme.
And bam, just like that, we now have a problem. On one hand, Renfri may be the key to killing everybody on the continent. On the other hand, she bought not one but 2 beers. Fortunately, Geralt is a grown-ass man and knows the only appropriate way to handle he said, she said drama.
If I have to choose between one evil and another, then I prefer not to choose at all.
We've reached the part of the episode where there is apparently some form of breakdown in the story. I don't know if there were some writing issues or if certain scenes were cut from the episode for length, but let's go over it. Geralt has already very specifically told Stregobor he has no interest in taking sides in his conflict with Renfri. After making that statement, Geralt then spends an intimate evening in the woods with Renfri, which you would assume would draw him even closer to her side. Yet, for some reason, the morning after the intimate encounter when Geralt wakes up, he decides that he absolutely has to stop Renfri. Did the condom break? Did she laugh at the size of his penis? We'll never know. Putting all of that aside, it does lead to the ultimate confrontation between Geralt and Renfri, and for my money, this is the best scene in the entire season.
If we cross swords,
I won't be able to stop.
Geralt eventually wins, but as Renfri is dying, she leaves him with a prophecy.
The girl in the woods will be with you always. She's your destiny.
The girl in the woods will be with you always. She is your destiny. The second storyline of Episode 1 revolves around Princess Cirilla and the royal family of Cintra. In the foreground, we have the warrior queen regent Calanthe, who comes off as capable and strong. On the right, we have her husband the king, who seems affable and loyal. And off to the left, we have Princess Cirilla. Princess Cirilla will later become known as Ciri, and the episode strongly implies she is the girl from Renfri's prophecy. Unfortunately, just as we are getting to know the fun and entertaining royal family, they are on the eve of battle, and Queen Calanthe is not one to shy away from a fight. Despite her bravery, the battle doesn't go well for the queen, and now her entire kingdom is in jeopardy.
We're losing! Then we fight along! We cannot surrender Cintra! No, will we?
The battle is lost, the king is dead, and the queen is mortally wounded, so Calanthe really only has one charge left, and that's to guarantee the safety of her granddaughter.
Come here, child. Find Geralt of Rivia. He is your destiny.
Just as the episode is about to close, we're given one final twist as to why Princess Cirilla's destiny is so important.
I can't do this without you.
We must go, Your Highness.
To the uninformed viewer, this may just look like your typical reaction of a 14-year-old girl who just found out, no, you're not going to be dating that 19-year-old boy down the street who drives a van with the topless Valkyries painted on the side. But in fact, this does appear to be some form of strong innate power, so we now have another wild card. Cirilla is now wandering the world looking for Geralt, and Geralt is now wandering the world having no idea what's going on. I will see you after episode 2.